Hey, are you guys ready to elevate your DIY skills? Well, of course you are. That's why you're here. I'm so excited to announce the HouseCalls Premium Ad-Free Membership. What is that? Well, you get a bunch of great stuff. You get exclusive member-only content. You can join me for live streams. We've got exclusive contests, sweepstakes, of course, easy-to-follow videos as well. Now, we've got a free 7-day trial. Just go to members.housecallsdiy.com.
We make things. We use our hands, minds, and machines to build, to fix, to improve. We're known as do-it-yourselfers, home improvement fans, fix-it fanatics, inventors. At our core, though, we're all makers. So let's jump in and make something. Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. Welcome to the show. Today I'm going to show you some simple troubleshooting tips for your central air conditioning system that could save you the cost of a service call. I'll also demonstrate a few do-it-yourself maintenance tips that will help keep your AC operating in top form. Do we ever really have enough kitchen storage space? I imagine most of us feel we could always use a bit more. In this episode, we'll build an accessible food pantry that gives you easy access to everything, top to bottom, front to back. Finally, I'll show you a neat trick for keeping sandpaper organized. These days, central air conditioning systems do a lot more than just cool the air. This one from Trane that I installed a couple of years ago also cleans the air electronically and controls humidity year-round. Regardless of what kind of central air conditioning system you may have, for the most part, they're reliable and trouble-free, provided they receive some regular care and maintenance. Now, some of this maintenance you can do yourself. Air conditioning systems have two basic components, an indoor unit called an air handler and an outdoor unit called a condenser. The air handler removes heat from indoor air, and the condenser discharges that warm air to the outside. The condenser needs good airflow to do its job properly, so it's important to remove any leaves, twigs, or other debris that might obstruct air movement, or find their way inside the unit. Also, make sure bushes and other foliage are trimmed back so they're at least 2 feet from the condenser. Remove any obstructions that are nearby or leaning against the air intake fins. A note of caution here. Avoid spraying water directly into the fins in an attempt to clean them. Doing so can force dirt and debris into the condenser coil inside. Regularly checking the filter in the air handler is, for sure, one of the most important maintenance tasks you can do on your own. Dirty filters like this one are simply replaced. Other types are designed to be cleanable. Many modern thermostats are battery-powered. Replace batteries once a year or when the battery indicator light appears on the digital panel. If there is a problem with your central air conditioning system, there are some simple troubleshooting actions you can do yourself. What if your system just won't turn on? First, check your thermostat to make sure the mode switch is set to cool rather than heat. Now, I know this sounds obvious, but professional service technicians report that often they arrive for a home service call to find this switch in the wrong position. Check the breaker panel. Locate the breaker for the air conditioning system, and if it's tripped, reset it. If it trips again right away, don't reset it a second time, since there may be a short in the circuit. Call a qualified electrician or air conditioning specialist to troubleshoot the problem. Sometimes the air conditioning system is running, but the air coming out of the vents is warm rather than cool. What then? This is often caused by restricted airflow. Check the air vents to make sure they are not blocked. Check the air filter. If it's dirty, replace it or clean it. Remove heavy dust and debris by vacuuming, then wash the filter in a sink or by using a garden hose outside. A clogged or dirty air filter is probably the most common reason a central air conditioning system fails to produce cool air. In fact, There are many symptoms that can indicate a clogged air filter. Low flow from an air vent, ice on the refrigerant lines, water in the air conditioner drip pan, and an air conditioner that struggles to meet set temperature. If your central air conditioning system experiences any of these, the first thing to check is your air filter. Air conditioning systems should be professionally inspected, cleaned, and serviced at least once a year. A qualified technician will go through the outside condenser by removing the top and examining the inside for dirt and debris, especially on the condenser coil. Dirt that's collected here acts as an insulator and can interfere with a unit's ability to dissipate heat that's been removed from indoor air. The technician will also inspect and tighten electrical connections, test electrical circuits, and measure refrigerant levels. Inside, the technician will inspect and clean filters, check the air handler coil, examine the fan or blower, test electrical circuits and electronic components, clean electronic air filtration systems, clear the condensate drain P-trap, test emergency shutoff switches, and check thermostat operation. Today's air conditioning systems provide high-quality indoor air year-round. A modest amount of maintenance and servicing will keep them operating efficiently without interruption. Now let's face it, if there's one appliance that's really key to home happiness, it's the fridge. Now ours is served well, but it's growing tired, and my wife Lynn has grown tired of it. Now, I didn't pay much attention to this fact at first, but as the discontent grew, I decided I'd better listen up.
Ron, it's definitely time.
For the baby?
No, not for the baby. Oh my God. No, for a new refrigerator. This one is just... Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. No.
Yeah, let's not use that phrase lightly.
No, okay. It's so dated and ugly, and it's deep into the kitchen, and it doesn't match with our other appliances.
So you want something bigger, newer?
I would love more. I love that built-in look, you know, where the refrigerators are sort of more flush against the wall. They're just sort of higher and wider, but they're flushed.
Well, if we're going to go higher, I think we should consider going wider. I think that's a good idea.
That's
the only
fine.
trouble is, if we do that, we're going to lose this countertop over here and some of those cupboards. You know what we could put over here is maybe some kind of a store food in.
Pantry?
Pantry,
Pantry.
right. I'm going to get some cardboard. I'm going to make a little mock-up for you to look at.
So you're actually seriously considering my idea?
I'll consider it. Well, here is your virtual refrigerator and
My
pantry.
virtual?
Yeah, set it right up on the
what a
countertop.
mock-up. This is a great idea.
All right. Now, from here over to here is the new fridge, and then the pantry
I gotta
would be from here over.
get the full feeling
Yeah,
here.
stand back. And this is what I want you to do, is kind of take in the effect it has on the room. You know,
I
it's
love
tall,
it.
it's massive.
I see storage.
I want to take the computer and I want to design this. Okay, so there it is. There's the fridge. Here's the pantry over here. And then inside here, these openings here, this is all going to be shelves. I haven't drawn them in here. And they're adjustable, because you can look at it from this side, you can look at it from this side. We are using virtually every square inch of space in there.
Excellent.
You don't have stuff buried behind on a shelf, and yet you don't have to go through and open a bunch of compartments to find what you want.
Looks
So
great.
you happy with that?
I think it's fantastic.
Okay, should we build it?
I think you should build it.
First off, it's out with the old to make way for the new. I'm faced with a little bit of a dilemma here. This is a very nice piece of granite which I've got to take off, probably worth several $100s. It's attached with silicone. By heating a wide putty knife, then inserting it between the cabinet and granite, I'm hoping I can release the silicone's grip. Well, I've cut the last little bit of this. I think I'm free now. Let's see. There we go. Oh. All right. One big, heavy piece of granite coming out. Well, the time has come to take these cabinets down. I've got some options here. I could try to pry them off the wall, but I run the risk of damaging the wall if I do that. I could cut them apart. That gets kind of messy. What I'd like to do is locate the nails that are used to attach these to the wall and then just remove the nails. A lot of paint on here. I really can't see where those nails are, but here's a little trick that I'm going to use right here to find them. This is a magnet. And if I run this along the nailing strip right here, eventually, see, I'll come to a nail just like that, and the magnet will stick. Now all I've got to do is dig down there and pull that out. The cabinets are also attached to each other, in this case with nails. A reciprocating saw allows me to cut them apart. Finally, they come free. For the new cabinets, I've picked up several pieces of birch veneer plywood. It comes in 4x8 sheets, so my first step is to cut these into smaller sections for the individual parts of the pantry. So here are the pieces for the cabinet that's going to become the pantry. The two sides here, the top and bottom here. We want to attach the sides of the cabinet to the top and bottom, and to do that we're going to use something called pocket hole joinery. It's actually screws that are driven in at a very, very steep angle, and we'll put some glue in there to hold it together too. Now this is a special drill just used for pocket hole joinery. It's got a built-in pilot here, of course the drill itself, and then an adjustable stop up here. This is a guide that holds the drill at just the right angle. So we're going to go ahead and drill a hole here. Now you notice the stop right here prevents the drill from going any deeper. So when I say steep angle, you can see what I mean here. It actually goes in almost parallel to the surface of the board, and the idea is that when I put the screw in here, it's going to exit just about in the center right here. Now we've got the holes drilled. It's time to glue and screw this together now. So let me grab some glue here. We'll put some right along the edge here. Okay, we'll set this right. A joining clamp holds the parts in position, while a specially designed pocket hole clamp pulls the sections tightly together. Then it's just a matter of driving in the screws. The bottom is slipped into place, and finally the 1/4-inch plywood back slides into position. Well, here's the pantry cabinet. Now I want to cover up the edges of the plywood right here and also give this a little more rigidity. So I'm going to add a frame to the front. It's called a face frame. And it'll be made up of sections of 2-inch wide poplar, and I'm going to attach these together again using this pocket hole system. Once assembled, the face frame is glued and nailed to the front of the cabinet. Now this is the pantry cabinet. Next, I want to build 2 slide-out shelving units that look like this. I start by cutting grooves, also called dados, into the sides of the slide-outs. Then shelf standards are set into the grooves and screwed in place. After applying glue, I clamp the sides and top together, then secure them with pocket screws. Finally, I set the fixed center shelf in place and attach it. Well, there are our slide-out shelving units. Now, for those to work properly, we're going to have a glide or a slide mechanism, and that's what I'm going to put in next. I've attached the metal glides to small plywood platforms. Then I screw the entire assembly to the cabinet bottom. These are full extension glides. Once they're attached, I set the slide-outs on top, slide them into position, and simply screw them in place. For added support, I attach a glide to the top of the slide-out as well. Now the slide outs are complete. The next step is to make them match the cabinets that are already in the kitchen, and I'm going to do that by adding some decorative panels to the front. To make the panels, I'll use a router mounted in a router table. The idea is to cut bevels or tapers on the edges. If things turn out the way I hope, these panels will come very close to matching the existing kitchen cabinet doors. These days you can buy router bits that will allow you to duplicate just about any profile or shape. With all the parts complete, it's time to start assembling. Each section of the frame is slipped onto the beveled edge of the interior panel. While the frame sections are glued together, the panel is not glued in place but left free to float so that it can expand and contract with changes in humidity. Finally, the frame is clamped while the glue dries. Well, I finished the raised panels. They're almost an exact match for what's in the kitchen, and you're going to be amazed what a difference it makes when I actually apply these to the pantry. Well, that pretty much finishes the work on the pantry. Now I want to start on the refrigerator enclosure that goes right here. Like the pantry, the refrigerator enclosure is also made of birch plywood and held together with glue and the pocket hole joinery. I think of it as simply a box into which the refrigerator will roll. Again, I attach a solid wood face frame to conceal the front edge of the plywood. Well, let's roll! Out of the workshop and into the kitchen. First, I set the pantry in place and attach it to the wall studs. Then I ease the refrigerator enclosure into position and screw it to both the pantry and the wall. There's only a fraction of an inch to spare as I roll the new fridge snugly into place. Refrigerator's in. Pantry works great. Even got the adjustable shelves in here, and plenty of them. I'll let my wife Lynn decide exactly where they're going to go. Now, all that remains to be done is a little more sanding, some priming, and a good paint job. Hey! You're putting it right to use, huh?
Oh yeah, it is so great for storage.
Didn't that turn out nice?
It really did. I mean, tall things, medium, short, it's great.
And these are completely adjustable. Put them any place you want. If you want more shelves, I'll make you some more. You know, one of the things I love about this is there's not 1 cubic inch of space in here that isn't usable.
Right.
You can get to each one of these from both sides. Of course,
Right.
that one goes in, this one comes out. So it's, you know, storage space galore, a lot more than we ever had with
It
that other
is-
arrangement, right?
Yeah, it's very, very slick.
And you know what? I know we mocked this up with the cardboard and we were comfortable with it, but it intrudes into the room even less than I
Yep.
thought it was going to.
Yep, I was
Yeah?
thinking about that also. I totally agree. You did a great job.
You know, the secret to good sanding is using several different grits or grades of sandpaper, starting with the coarsest and moving to the finest. But how do you keep all that sandpaper organized? Well, here's a great tip. Use one of these expandable file folders. Label the tabs with the sandpaper grit numbers, and then simply file the sandpaper in the appropriate slot. And you know what? Some of these even have a handle on the top, so you can carry them right to your work site.
To view today's projects again and countless more, go to HouseCallsDIY.com. Step-by-step home improvement tips when you need them.
I'm Brian Kelsey. Welcome to House Calls.
Join us as we tackle some great home projects, as well as look back at favorites from Ron Hazelton on House Calls.